Hello, welcome back. We already talked about state law, and we looked at a case called Wilkerson v. State, and we looked at the void for vagueness doctrine and the whole idea of rule of law, that laws need to be clear. The other major source in our legal system is federal law. Now, let's go back to first principles. Let's go back to our constitutional structure. The Constitution, Article 1, creates the Congress, and then in Article 1, Section 8, delegates a specific set of powers to the Congress. In fact, in one of the Federalist Papers, James Madison, who's considered the architect of the Constitution, he was the secretary at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787, he says, look, he says this to the anti-federalists, to the people worried that the U.S. government that was proposed under the Constitution might be too strong, it could become dangerous. Madison says famously in the Federalist Papers, don't worry, and I quote, the powers of Congress are few and well defined. The idea is, if you look at Article 1, Section 8, it basically says the things that Congress can do. You know, create a post office, regulate commerce, establish the army and navies, etc., things of that nature. And so whenever Congress enacts a law, they have to justify that law under one of the specific powers in Article 1, Section 8. States don't have that problem. States under our federal structure have a general police power. So they can enact a law for basically, not any reason, but it has to be rationally related or connected to public health, public safety, public welfare, etc. So health, safety, and welfare, very broad general category. States have a lot of power. Right, with that introduction, I now want to talk about two federal laws that I've included in this module. And so I'll do that in my next two videos. We'll talk about the Endangered Species Act, Federal Endangered Species Act, because that's the law that Joe Exotic was prosecuted under in Tiger King. And that law gave rise to a very important federal case called Lujan versus Defenders of Wildlife. And then I also want to talk about, actually, when I was creating this course, I was just going to talk about the Endangered Species Act and the Lujan case. But a few months ago, President Trump signed into law the Prevention of Animal Cruelty Act. And so there's now a federal anti-animal cruelty law. And so I want to talk about that law as well and why I think that law will be challenged in court. So fasten your seatbelts and stay tuned.